When the cap spiked in 2016, there were a lot of bad contracts that were signed. Fortunately for NBA teams, these contracts are finally coming off the books this summer. However, there is still a lot of bad contracts in the NBA. Some of the contracts are just too much money for guys that are aging rapidly, and others are because the players were projected to improve, but didn't, and are now overpaid. Either way, signing NBA contracts isn't a perfect science, hence why there are so many bad deals. Now, even though these players may not be living up to their current price tag, they are certainly happy they cashed in, while their value is at its highest. Whereas the team that signed these contracts can't wait until they come to an end. Chris Paul. The Houston Rockets were essentially forced to give Chris Paul a max contract extension after what they gave up in the trade to get him from the LA Clippers. So the Rockets gave Paul $160 million over 4 years, and just 1 year into the contract, traded him to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Russell Westbrook. It's likely that Paul will be traded again before the end of this contract. However, he'll be difficult to move, considering the size of the contract. Kevin Love. Kevin Love's contract extension for 4 years and $120 million that he signed in 2018 received a lot of hate almost immediately. Love is an aging forward whose lack of impact on the defensive end of the court gets a lot of negative attention. Despite Love's still impressive impact on offense, if he can't be at least a decent defender for the remainder of this contract, people will say he's overpaid. Kelly OLYNYK. Kelly OLYNYK signed a 4-year, $50 million contract with the Miami Heat in the summer of 2017. He's been a solid role player for the Heat over the past 3 seasons, but it's once again difficult for a backup center to justify such a hefty price tag. The Miami Heat have signed a lot of overpriced contracts in the post-LeBron era, but they seem to be turning it around now. Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez signed a 4-year, $54 million contract with the Milwaukee Bucks after having a career season with the team in 2018-19. Last year, he anchored the team's defense and stretched the floor on offense, shooting 36.5% from 3. This year, he still anchored the defense, but he only shot 29.6% from 3. If he can't get back above 35% from 3, this contract won't look very good. NIKOLA VUCEVIC. NIKOLA VUCEVIC made his first All-Star appearance with the Orlando Magic last season, and it's likely to be his only All-Star selection. After that season, he signed a 4-year, $100 million extension, which seemed reasonable at the time. However, given his lack of an impact on winning, the contract isn't likely to age well. CODY ZELLER. CODY ZELLER is no more than a league-average center that's getting paid $56 million over 4 years. For his career, ZELLER averages 8.6 points and 6 rebounds. Good for a backup center, however, he's getting paid like a starter. The Charlotte Hornets have given out a lot of bad contracts over the past few years, and CODY ZELLER is one of them. Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin signed a 5-year, $173 million contract with the LA Clippers in 2017, and just 33 games into the contract, got traded to the Detroit Pistons. In his first season and a half with the Pistons, he played some of the best basketball of his career, but has unfortunately struggled with injuries since. If Griffin can stay healthy and can play at an all-star level, he'll live up to his contract, but this season he was far from that. DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan signed a 4-year, $40 million contract with the Brooklyn Nets this past summer, thanks to his friendship with Nets All-Star Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Considering his clear decline over the past few seasons, it'll be difficult for Jordan to justify this contract over the next 3 years. Myles Turner. Myles Turner signed his rookie scale extension in 2018 for 4 years and $72 million. There's still a chance Turner could improve and earn that massive contract. However, his lack of improvement thus far isn't encouraging. Turner has been averaging roughly 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game for his entire career, and unless something changes drastically for him, it'll be difficult to justify $18 million per year. Al Horford. Last summer, the Philadelphia 76ers signed Al Horford to a monstrous 4-year, $109 million contract. This was certainly a worthy price tag based on Horford's performance in his last year with the Boston Celtics, but just 1 season into the contract with the 76ers, it's looking like a massive overpay. His defensive impact is still solid, but his lack of consistency on offense at this point isn't encouraging. Dwayne Dedmon. Just this past summer, the Sacramento Kings signed Dwayne Dedmon to a 3-year, $40 million contract, and just 34 games in, they already regretted it. Dedmon was having difficulty cracking the rotation on a borderline playoff team in the Kings. Paying a guy $40 million to sit on the bench is less than ideal, hence why the Kings traded Dedmon to the Atlanta Hawks in February. John Wall. John Wall signed a max contract for 5 years and $170 million with the Washington Wizards back in 2017, and has played in just 73 games in the 3 seasons since he signed that contract. This is obviously not the fault of Wall, but it's unfortunate that he suffered so many injuries. It's just impossible for a guy to justify such a high contract if he can't even get on the court. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thanks for tuning in.